well. So Scott is asking, would serviced accommodation be a safer... Oh, is it okay if we ask you some questions? You don't mind, do you?
No, I've got to go now, so I'll see you.
Stop it.
Yeah, I've got to be gone by about 10 o'clock. That's not the right time.
1 o'clock. We're on track.
1 o'clock. Yeah.
We're on track for that. Don't you worry. I'm pretty good at timekeeping. So would serviced accommodation be a safer option instead of buy-to-let in regards to getting money up front, and guests don't have the right to stay like tenants?
Could you just repeat that question?
Yeah,
again?
I don't know, Scott, if you're around, and let me just see if he wanted to ask that question. I now can't find him, but that doesn't mean he's not here. He said, would SA be a safer option instead of buy-to-let in regards to getting money up front? I suppose that means bigger money, and the fact that guests don't have the right to stay like tenants. He's asking if it's SA is a safer option.
Well, again, big D word, it depends, right? So is it a safer option? I would say no, it's not a safer option. Serviced accommodation is a whole different animal to buy-to-let. If you want safe, I don't think safe and serviced accommodation go in the same sentence, to be honest, unless you are, well educated in it and understand it, all the intricacies that go behind it. I mean, we have this analogy about the SA iceberg, where people just straight away revert to like cash flow and how much money you make in serviced accommodation without looking at beneath the iceberg, which is all the operational responsibilities that you have that go with it. So no, I wouldn't put safe and serviced accommodation in the same arena. If you want safe, stick to buy-to-let. Do we get money up front in serviced accommodation? Well, yes, we do sometimes, and in other times, no, we don't. So if you're working with Situ, Silverdor, Comfy, with some of the bigger SA agencies, then they have a 30-day term. Some may even have a 60-day term. So it can be fantastic and very good for cash flow. But then on the other hand, you just need to be able to understand how to cash flow a business, and within those timescales too. So in answer to your question, safe and serviced accommodation, not in the same sentence.
I like that. Okay, and James has asked, what would it take to sell your business for 1 billion instead of 100 million? He says, I don't doubt you'll hit the 100 million target. I'm interested in your thoughts if you were to scale everything to a completely different level. That's the reason for the question.
Scalability is it's just all about setting new stakes in the ground, right? So I would just look at my numbers and work out what it would take to sell it for 1 billion and go from there. I think my goal is to kind of, by the time I'm in my early 50s, be have a family office and be lending money and to startups and entrepreneurs and coaching them. That's my goal. So I think serviced accommodation is kind of a stepping stone for me to be able to do that. So I wouldn't want to sell it for 1 billion. I'd like to sell it for 100 million. So great question, James. Thank you for the question. But again, it's just about moving the goalposts and setting them up in a slightly different way and working out what that would have to look like.
Amazing.
Within a certain time frame, obviously.
And so with that, this path of you going down there, so obviously you've got the serviced accommodation, you've got your serviced accommodation, you manage serviced accommodation. Are you looking at this as growing from the roots up, or are you seeing acquisition coming in through this as well?
So in terms, what do you mean in terms of, are we going to be, what kind of strategy have we got?
Yeah, so to get to your stage, so obviously you've got your 1 year, your 3 year, but you're not necessarily, I mean, obviously we can do that, but it may not be. So for me, I've got big goals, but I just know that my business alone is not going to get there. I don't have necessarily the skills in the time scale that I have. So for me, part of my goals is going to be some acquisitions in there.
I see. So acquiring other businesses and stuff like that. Look, I'm not open to that. It's not something I've really thought about. No, I always kind of use a 70-20-10 rule within my business. So 70% of my time is going to be focused on X, 20% on X, and 10% on X. So in the future, our business will be 70% focus will be on developing our own stuff. So we've got more operational control over that. So developing apart hotels, going down to our apart hotel this afternoon for my first site visit, which started last week down in Llandudno. But I'm going to build out 70% of my time and our business will be on ownership. 20% will be on rent to rent and 10% will be managed in the future. Now, the reason for that is I know that from a sales perspective, when I'm selling the business, if I've got an asset base and an operating company, I can get multipliers on that. So it's all worked out in the detail.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And oh yes, sorry, I'd forgotten my question. Another thing that I'm really interested in, obviously we've just come out of COVID, and most of us were able to run our business in a correct manner, which enabled it to go forward. And obviously it has been quite sort of volatile as well. So we've had like crazy, masses of bookings, and then kind of a little bit of a drought. And then I know at the moment there's, some of us are definitely seeing, a lack of future bookings. And you can sort of start the month, or, I know for us in May, it was looking very light at the beginning of May, and then we ended up having a pretty good month. So what do you do in your business to kind of help flatten that scary curve, which can cause, such a lot of sleepless nights? And for me, I feel it's really key that, there's risk, and then there's like, too much stress. So how do you kind of formulate that, and obviously advise others as well?
Yeah, so great question. In terms of the serviced accommodation market, I think there's levels for certain areas where you have to apply different strategies to those areas. So for example, you might have a core of, lower level bookings that are longer term, maybe over your 28 days, you're not paying your VAT. You might have then that built up with some leisure stuff. You've got like little avatars or niches to every single marketplace that will come into play at different times of year. I think there's always a really good, should always have a really good kind of direct booking from contractors and places like that. And where you want to be within serviced accommodation is what I call the sweet spot, where you're kind of 4 days in the week have got people that are traveling for business, weekends are for leisure. And if you can kind of build that in to your business, then that always is a good leveler. I think in terms of being able to deal with the stress, in terms of being able to deal with ups and downs. Look, serviced accommodation is a seasonal business. If you want straight lines, just in case nobody saw me do that apart from, people on Clubhouse anyway. If you want a straight line, it's not serviced accommodation. Go and do something else. There's seasonality within this business. There's ups and downs. You'll always have ups and downs within this business. But it's how much there is of a curve in those ups and downs, which makes or breaks a business, I suppose. So yeah, it's about filling those curves with as much kind of direct, longer term business stays or contractor stays, as well as getting you kind of high level leisure stays that bump your revenue up as well.
Absolutely.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a 12-month cycle, isn't it? Don't start your business in November and be surprised that you haven't made any money. Yeah. So it is really key.
One of the things I always say to clients that come on with us at the beginning is don't expect to hit the ground running. It's a 6-month process before we can that before your business is kind of settled, and then we can start building it up from there. And look, you see exactly the same at the Apart Hotel in Folkestone. You know, it's built over a period of time. It's got bigger. It'll only grow over a period of time.
Amazing. Dave, we're literally top of the hour. How can people come and find you?
Easiest place to find me is probably on Instagram. The link's at the top of the room. If anybody would like to have a chat with me, I'm more than happy to do so. You can click my link on there. There's a Linktree link at the top of that, which gives you some free stuff to do with serviced accommodation or business building. And then also there's a link on there to book a call with me if you feel like you want to. So happy to have a chat with anybody. Also, I'm on every morning, Monday to Friday, in the We Talk Property Room from 7:30 till 8:30. So come along there, join in, and have a chat in there too.
Amazing.
Everybody's welcome.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Dave. That was awesome. Really great information. And just as a reminder, everybody, this will be on YouTube as well, and there'll be numerous YouTube videos, the long one, and then lots of shorts, and that's at Emma Howitt Pure Abode. So do go and find that too. We shall be back next week, and tomorrow I also have Mind the Property, where I'll be back with Lee Rubeck, who, as an absolute, has completely transformed my life as far as mindset goes. So we'll look forward to that one tomorrow evening at 7:30. Thanks a lot, Dave. Take care, and look forward to catching up very soon. And thanks so much, everyone who asked the questions and was here supporting us. Take care, guys.
Thanks for having me, Emma. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.